What is up, everyone? Welcome to round 2 of the November edition of Portland Monthly Pre-Modern Paper Magic Afternoons monthly tournament. Without further ado, let's dive into the decks. First up, we have Ryan on Terrageddon. Now, this is not a stock list, and the first thing that should be obvious that is not stock is the Fires of Yavimaya. Yes, this deck is splashing red, seemingly just 4 fires, which is a cool little enchantment, giving all your creatures haste. Also being able to sacrifice it as a little combat trick to buff one of your creatures +2/+2 till end of turn. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason why it's splashing red, but a little bit of a spice inclusion. This deck also seems to be more focused on the mid-range value side of Terrageddon, getting lots of smaller creatures out quickly and then having a Terravore as like the backup big finisher. I'm a little more familiar with the Oath of Druid style, which is way more in on just the Terravore plan, but this one definitely seems more mid-range value. Looks really fun. I like the inclusion of Sylvan Safekeeper and Weathered Wayfarers as well to help get the lands you need, and also more lands in the graveyard. For the sideboard, there's some more spice that I actually missed. The deck is also splashing black for Pernicious Deed and Engineered Plague, but as far as I can tell, there is no dedicated black mana source, and he's really just going to be relying on Mox Diamonds to hit that if he does decide to board those in for this matchup, which seems a little unreliable. We'll see how it works out if he ends up having to bring any in, but all in all, seems like a very interesting list. I'm excited to see how it plays. And for Ryan's opponent, we have Joe on this pretty sweet looking blue-green Ponza bounce brew. I did talk to him a little bit at the tournament, and he was just really interested in trying to figure out a way to have Anka Mishra and Black Vise as a win con, really just trying to keep the board clear, bouncing lots of stuff to his opponent's hand and top of deck. Some of the best ways to do that are Temporal Spring, Memory Lapses, which are always fun to see, and Fallow Earth and Plow Under to help really take care of lands. This is kind of a crazy brew, or just kind of in between like a blue-green Stasis and that Ankh Parallax deck that still relies on Ankh and Black Vise to be win cons in this deck, but really just trying to keep your opponent from playing out anything and just ending up with a grip full of cards. I don't actually see a sideboard either, so I think it's just his main deck. And yeah, super sweet. I'm excited to see how it plays out. One other thing I wanted to mention, because some people might be able to tell here, the Portland tournament is 100% proxy friendly. You can show up even with hand-drawn scribbles as long as the card is clear and you can tell what it does and your opponent can tell what it does. That's all we care about. Not playing against people's wallets. And while some people, including myself, usually tend to prefer to own real cards, when you have brewers that want to try out something new, which Joe repeatedly shows up with Sweet Brews, so I'm excited we got him on camera. It makes total sense that you'd want to just print something off real quick, see if it works, and have a blast with it, which is what we're going to be doing right now, because we're headed to round number 2. And here we go, Terrageddon versus blue-green Ponza board control. Joe, if you watch this, let me know what you'd like your brew to be called, because it's pretty sweet. Hopefully you iterate on it more, because it seems like it's gonna be a lot of fun. But both these decks are gonna be very focused on lands in play, controlling that board, really trying to limit what the opponent's doing in terms of spells and creatures. And let's see, for Ryan, didn't get a good look, but it looks like he's got some lands, at least one land, and maybe a Weathered Wayfarer. Joe's got an Ankh. He's got at least 2 lands, including a Rashadan Port, which he's playing now, and Mox. Yes. Okay, cool. So he's got a good start. He can lead off with the Ankh and start that damage early. Oop, and we got a reader. If you never played against the Parallax Ankh deck, you may not even know that Ankh is legal in Premodern. Alright, taking 2, and then another one to play out a Weathered Wayfarer. Honestly, this is a great creature to start off with, especially with being on the draw, but against a deck that is actively trying to bounce all your lands. Being able to get more lands to play out, especially if it's going to the top of your deck, you get a shuffle. That could be super beneficial. And let's see, Joe is just going to tap down land at the beginning of next turn. Interesting, Joe did not draw a second, or at least chose not to play a second land. And we got another reader. Interesting. Okay, so he didn't activate Weather Wayfarer. Oh, he shortcut to combat. That's what happened. Okay, so swinging in for 1, not using his ability yet. Obviously can't yet because there's not enough lands in play. That Rashad Import getting work in though, keeping Ryan down to just potentially 1 mana if he decides to play out a land. Already kind of aware of that 2 damage from the Ankh and discarding the hand size. Interesting. Okay, so we got a very, very grindy match. Alright, passes turn, taps down, and I'm pretty sure that was a land, right? That was a treetop village. Alright, swinging in for 1, playing the treetop, taking the 2. I think that's smart. At the very least, you need to open up your hand to a little more mana. Oh, getting a City of Brass, taking 2. And I see a Thermokarst, so we could get some land destruction in. Is that what we're gonna do though? Or are we just bouncing it? I think we are bouncing it to the top of the deck. Okay. Oh wait, no, just destroying it. Wait, isn't that to the top of the deck? I thought it was to the top. Either way. Now we're doing the thing where Weathered Wayfarer goes and finds a land. Now that Joe has more lands, we can get Weathered Wayfarer's effect. We can get at least a little bit more lands out. Being able to shuffle what's on the top of our deck could prove to be important in the future too. Oh, we'll lead off with a Nimble Mongoose. Alright, and the creatures are starting to come down for Ryan and providing decent pressure. Still a ways off from that Mongoose being a threat, but if Joe leads off with... Okay, that must not be the card I think it is. If it is a land destruction. No, it is going to the top of the deck. Okay, so I didn't read that wrong the first time. And this is where being able to shuffle, and they've got a little problem. They realize that the treetop should have gone to the top of the deck. Looks like they're just going to resolve themselves. We don't actually have any judges on call here, so it's usually up to the players to resolve any sort of rules dispute. Looks like Ryan just opting to draw that land and take another 2 to play it back out. Now, he's got a Lightning Tutor in hand. He could go for that Seal of Cleansing, if he doesn't already have it in hand, to get rid of an Ankh. But it looks like he's just going to go for the aggro plan, swing in for a couple. Oh, not letting him have that treetop village, though. I guess that's a good call. Still, getting in for 2. And that is a pretty real clock. Getting out another Mox. Gonna pitch, I think that was a Rashad Import. And lots of mana available now. There is a Thermokarst. I did see a Boomerang. I think Joe's eyeing that Boomerang to stall out the board a little bit. I can't tell what the other. I think one's a capsize. Yeah, capsize. Not enough for the buyback. Okay, this time he will thermokarst. And this time the land does go in the graveyard. But why? Oh, in response. Okay, in response he's gonna land tutor here. Just smart. Does have to show it.
Dude, so you're playing land destruction control. Okay, that's cool. That's on top.
And I think that was a seal cleansing. He really turned that around quick, but that would be my guess as a way to get rid of the Ankh, really start applying the pressure again.
Alrighty. Take our 2. Like it.
Alright, plays out another land, gets the white mana for the seal of cleansing. Perfect. Alright. And nice little tech too, being an enchantment helps buff up the nimble mongooses. They're still short on cards in the graveyard, but oh sorry, I'm mixing up the new mechanic Descend with Threshold, everyone. I've been playing a lot of the new Ixalan set. Threshold doesn't care what card type it is. So he just needs cards in the graveyard, but it is a nice tech to get the seal with Enlightened Tutor. One of the things that I like in my Oath version of this deck is not only can you use Enlightened Tutor to find Oath, but also being able to grab seals is pretty nice. All right, we got a Boomerang, land bounce. That was an interesting choice. I might have bounced one of the creatures, maybe the Weathered Wayfarer, to prevent more lands from piling up in his hand, being able to discard and get Threshold faster. But I think the writing's on the wall here. I don't know if there's too much more Joe can do. He does have a capsize. Take 2. Oh wait, no, that's right. Sorry, the Ankh got destroyed, so it doesn't have to worry about playing lands. He can capsize one thing.
Who's the scariest here?
And put his life down to 1.
Oh, no way.
Multiple shroud. Wordy shroud, yeah.
I would probably hit the Werebear.
Hands back is actually maybe interesting. I don't know. Those obviously those are the 2 legal choices.
You know what? Yeah, let's just capsize.
Yeah.
So that's back to hand.
So, I mean, he can always block with the bird as well.
Let's see what we can do.
By himself, potentially 2 turns, but without any kind of damage or win con in hand, I don't think Joe's got a way out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be pretty much over. Ryan just gonna activate Weathered Wayfarer one more time. Go get another land. Ooh, Wasteland.
I assume the Enlightened Tutor.
I don't know exactly what you hit here though. You can Wasteland the Rashadan port, I guess. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
I wasn't playing it because I wanted to draw a land, not a random. I was so tight on mana, I wanted to draw a land.
But it does get you another permanent in the graveyard.
Oh, that's right. That goes on top of your.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, all right, I don't want to wait 2 turns to draw.
Or another card in the graveyard.
Alright, so I put waste on my hand.
Let's see.
I will waste a. Well, I'm not taking off colors of mana, so.
Ryan might be trying to figure out if he can get Threshold online. Not that it really matters this turn, because it wouldn't be lethal, but he could potentially get close. No blocks, okay. Not playing out the Wasteland. Just gonna play out the Werebear again. Yeah, okay.
And pass.
And now presenting lethal, assuming Joe can't do anything. I think there's a Tolarian Winds.
Tolerant Winds.
That's you? Oh, you're gonna draw?
For a plow under.
Gonna dig for an answer.
Okay.
So
It is a capsize, but can't do much with that.
might be a
I don't know if there was much he could have done, but Ryan taking it down, and let's see if they had any sideboarding. Joe, by the way, does not have a sideboard, so we'll see what Ryan sideboarded in. I don't think he'll bring in that black splash at all. Maybe the Pernicious Deed, but I feel like the Disenchants and the Naturalizes are going to be way more effective just based on what he's seen in terms of Joe's win con. Alright, Joe's going to keep a 7.
Oh man, that'd be the biggest dick move. You saw your opponent's first play, and you're like,
And let's see if we can get a peek on what's in his hand.
Yeah, I kind of think Wrath of God would be sweet too. I don't know, that may be a little.
Seems like he's pretty confident about it though. He's not thumbing through it trying to figure out his play.
Creatures are just trying to slow the game down.
yeah, I'm totally throwing that.
Sick, yeah. Yeah, you just want to slow the game down and crush. Alright, you want to cut or should I drop?
Okay. We're gonna get a cut here or
Sorry, go ahead.
Alright, nope, just good to go. Okay, we got some swords, which is interesting. I guess I was in main. I almost would have brought those out, and we're shipping it back.
Yeah, you might have some swords.
Granted, he did see birds, so not knowing what's in this deck list at all, because it's very much a brew. I could see potentially leaving swords in just in case there's some sort of big bomb. But
Bad game is this.
it felt like a pretty controlling deck,
It's kind of interesting.
and maybe adding in a few more of those artifact or potentially even enchantment removal effects could make a lot of sense. I go either way on it. Again, this is only game 2, so he hasn't seen much of the deck, and the only damage he did see was an artifact, so there could be something else. There could even be some sort of creature combo. Alright, gets the tap. We got a Mox, we got 2 Mox, we got a lot of lands. Is there a creature in there?
Sure, I'll keep this.
Oh yeah, we got... Is that another Weathered Wayfarer? Oh, and the Black Vise comes down.
Scary.
Nope, it's not the rack, it's the other one. You take damage this turn.
So I take 3, right?
Okay.
Let's get some cards out of it.
Hey, drew a Werebear off the top. 2 Mox, and I think at least 2, if not 3 lands. Means you're powering out a lot of stuff. But you do have to be a little bit careful with all that bounce lands. Okay, just plays out the 1 Mox, gets the Weathered Wayfarer, plays the fetch land. That'll be good enough. Probably just gonna go fetch. You can just activate that in the response. Yeah, okay, yeah. Joe may be getting a little overeager to deny his opponent mana fixing.
Trigger, or is it just opponent? It's just opponent. Damn, that card's good.
But this should help. I assume he's getting a plains. Oh, a forest. Okay, interesting. And playing out a Root Maze. All lands enter tapped.
Like it. It's a pass. End of turn. I will.
Oh, gonna cycle a land,
Draw a card.
draw a card,
Untap.
and untap for turn. Alright. So I think he's below the threshold for taking damage. Yeah. Okay. Plays out Treetop Village, get some more pressure down. Holding up that swords. Hopefully he doesn't think that's a oh god, what's the creature? I'm totally blanking on. The art's kind of similar. But yeah, alright, plays out the Werebear. We got a pretty decent clock. Already got 3 cards in the graveyard. If he plays out, I think that was a Wasteland. Do you get to the point where you wasteland your own land? Can you even do that? I think it's only opponent's lands, right? I haven't actually looked that closely at Wasteland's wording in a while. Alright, animating the Treetop Village, swinging in for a boatload. It plays out another Treetop Village. Okay, we got a real clock here. And Joe, I think, unfortunately, is just stuck on one land.
That's a pass.
And this is going to be a quick game.
So you get to see what the actual win condition of this deck is.
If he can't come up with something. All right, plays out a wasteland.
Underplayed in this one too.
Still can only animate one of the treetops right now.
We have enough. Yeah, hold on. We can tap for green.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, you can get both. Get a little bit extra damage in with the werebear. Takes him down to 7, and we're looking at lethal next turn unless Joe got it. Doesn't look like it. Passing the turn with just a forest up. I think that's, well, that should be entering tapped because of the root maze.
Fire up both villages.
But it's going to be enough damage anyways. Doesn't matter. That'll do it. Congrats to Ryan. Really sweet deck. Joe, I hope you continue to iterate on this deck because it looked like it had some really cool ideas behind it. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. We have at least 4 more coming. And then hopefully next month we'll get some more recorded and keep the train rolling. Thank you all so much for checking the channel out, and I'll see you next time.